Hello, we are the Rewinders, and I forgot to say my name.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Lee, and we are the Rewinders, rewatching childhood movies to see if they still hold up. But this is a little bit different.
We didn't watch this movie as children.
No, we didn't, because I had outgrown the Turtles, apparently, in 93.
Yeah, I don't think I was paying
And
much attention at this point.
I think I saw a commercial for it, for Turtles 3. I think I remember seeing a clip of it. The only clip I remember is they're dancing at a bar, all the samurai guys.
I don't even remember that.
Dancing to oh, whoa, 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 whoa. But that might have been just the commercial.
Might have been.
No idea. So, we didn't see this movie as kids
No.
to have any nostalgia, but we have nostalgia for the Turtles.
Yes.
And I guess being completionists to the Turtles franchise? I don't know. Whatever.
Well,
We're watching
not
this.
the Michael Bay completionists.
No, I'm not going to watch those movies. I have no interest. I have no interest in those movies at all. I saw what I needed to see from the commercials. But that's what I thought about when I was a kid with this. But, it doesn't look that good. I'm not interested in Turtles anymore.
Yeah.
I think it was really. I know we played D&D quite a bit, and I think we were really starting to get it more into D&D in around 92, 93.
That would be
That's what I'm trying to remember. Me, yeah. Okay, yeah.
I wasn't
You didn't come
buddy with you at this point. Yet.
No, you didn't come around till later. 94, 95. Yeah, so we watched it now, and I was surprised how much I liked this movie.
Yeah?
I don't know. This one, it just surprised me.
It is a surprising movie, I guess, if you haven't watched it before. I guess it would be surprising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As in, like, I am surprised this happened at all.
I'll say it was an eye-opening experience for me. It's something I didn't... I don't want to say it shook me to the core of my being, but I think it's something that... Well, again, we'll go through a little bit of the movie, but some people say that there's not a good plot. Why did they go back in time? Why do the Turtles look like shit? Yeah, I can see that, but I guess you have to look past that, and I think that's what I did on my viewings of this movie. So,
okay, then.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. The movie starts off with it's in Japan, 1603, all in red. They're like doing a red motif.
Sure.
Red. Everything's red.
And I started watching it. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it just struck me right away. It's all in red. Japan, 1603. Like, oh, this is going to be like a Akira Kurosawa movie. Like, I mean, just how the shadows, the sunrise coming up, the silhouettes of who are these? Who are these men on horseback? Just something special about the way that was shot. Sorry, I think this movie changed me. But I'll let you...
So in our previous movies, the opening parts of the movie usually reveal the Turtles in some exciting way.
Yeah.
So we see a gentleman on a horse and then 4 pursuers who seem to be a little bulky.
Yeah,
they have a bigger, wider heads with their helmets. So it's like, are these the Turtles right away? On horseback, charging towards the camera after someone?
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, okay.
Because everything goes to normal, and you see they're just people in Japan.
I mean, you say they're just people, but again, I mean, you have to look past that. Well, if you look at them in a certain light, exactly what they did with the framing, that maybe they aren't people necessarily. Maybe there's something more to them. But
well, the one out in front's a prince, and the 4 behind them are the color guard.
They're the color guard. They're the color guard. Sure.
Of the Shogun.
Yeah, they're the honor guard of Lord Nuburakurur. I don't remember his name. But yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
They hunt on the
so
prince.
So they weren't exactly just anybody's in feudal Japan.
I'll get into my thoughts, my deep thoughts about that later.
So they catch up with the prince. Hey, you gotta come back. No, I don't want to go back. And then
there's a mysterious woman watching.
Yeah, off to the side.
And you're just instantly compelled. What's her story? What does she have to offer? Is she us? Is she Well, I'm sorry. I'm in my own thoughts. I'll let you continue.
So they basically grab the prince and take him back, and lady disappears behind a tree, and then we transition to
Smash
New York.
cut, New York City subway.
I mean, it's just going through the ye old turtle tube.
Yeah, we see the turtles, and the title comes up. They're there, all four of them practicing swinging their weapons around, and then we get a montage of them ninja practice weaponing, getting ready for the really difficult fight ahead of them. Sure. I believe they didn't know that they were training, and I believe even Raphael gets angry because they're listening to a song, and he throws a knife at the speaker, or whatever, his sai, I mean. Mm-hmm. And he's, why are we training? And I think Splinter had said, well, you should keep training because he knew. I think Splinter knew they were going to go back in time. Now, some say Splinter will look like absolute shit in this, and they probably didn't have him completely finished. It was just a torso and a head. But I don't know. I think he looks older, maybe a little bit wiser.
Okay. So my take from this section of the film was you get really good looks at the costumes again because every movie has a slightly different take or drastically different take on the costumes. This time, the costumes seem to be more solid, I would say. They didn't have as much flex to them, but it did look like they afforded the people wearing them more mobility than in the past.
Yes.
I actually kind of like the costumes outside of the fact that they become kind of plastic and they've strayed away from trying to make them look real. I put that in air quotes.
The redesign is, because this is no longer Jim Henson. Yeah. They had to get a different company to do this, probably cheaper. Mm-hmm. All the turtles' color, their skin color is exactly the same now. Before they had variant, they all look more similar. They still are individual, but they still look more closely, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Their heads look more similar to each other. They're not exaggerated, and now they all have spots as well on them.
Yeah.
But you're right. The rest of them look less bulky, but the animatronics on the head
terrible
are really, really bad.
And the one that suffers the most in this movie is Leonardo because for some reason they keep shooting him on a profile or an angle, whereas most of the other turtles get face-on camera time. So you don't really get to see the jerkiness face-on, but from the side and from an angle, you get to see it, and it happens a lot with Leonardo's mask.
I think the reason why they probably shot from the side for Leonardo is you really don't want to look at him directly in the eyes. He's a leader, but I mean, a direct eye contact, it would probably issue a challenge from him because he follows the Bushido code. So I believe the director was very subtle by doing that to hide the fact that Leonardo really is the baddest motherfucker in this team.
Better than Raphael?
Raphael, actually, he has a really good character arc in this movie where, I mean, he's angry that he's not fighting, but he changes, he softens, he gets a little bit more, I guess, soft. He's not the hard outer shell that we all think that he is. Mm-hmm. He's soft and squishy on the inside.
Okay. And as you said about Splinter only being an upper half, I mean, they do a terrible job of putting him behind objects, and he looks basically what you would expect to see on Sesame Street. There's always a wall. Yes. There's always something in front of him. And there was a specific shot when he first comes out and he puts his hands up on the window of the train that he's in. And I wish I could show this because it's this herky-jerky movement per hand, and then it just drops. Yeah. Then the hand moves, and the other hand, herky-jerky movement up, and then drops, and then the hands move. And it's like, you couldn't do both at the same time.
It suffers. You can tell that it's
and his mouth has issues,
and his voice is someone else, and it's very poor. But I think what happened was he probably meditated too much in the previous movie, as we discussed in the previous one, and now he's he wore out his bottom half.
Oh.
So we really can't see. It's just,
Yeah.
it's burnt.
His arms are tired.
Yeah, he's just exhausted from constant meditation. And now, I mean, he can't do that anymore. He's in the sewer with his boys now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he probably watches them meditate quite a bit, actually. I mean, they are teenagers. They have to meditate.
Is it also not interesting that they bring in Casey Jones to watch over Splinter
That is also
when
true.
the boys leave? So he's a strong, strapping man. He can supply muscle and arm strength where needed.
Yeah,
maybe
it really.
for
I mean, I'm
meditation.
glad you're starting to notice. Like, this movie is really actually okay. I mean, I don't want to say it's amazing, but maybe we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I can change your mind about how.
Sure.
Or people's minds on how good this movie is.
After the acrobatic training session, the woman supposedly known as April arrives, which I'll give her the nod of, you did the correct hairstyle this movie. Good on you. Whoever
True.
decided to do that, she has the correct hairstyle now.
Well, yeah, I called her April too, and I might have been too quick to judge her. I've said maybe she should be on a family show of some kind. But here she comes down and she has something to do. She went shopping for them, which is really nice of her. And she went to a flea market, I believe, and got them all individual gifts. Leonardo, a book of swords. Michelangelo, Hawaiian lampshade. Yeah, and
Donatello got a radio, an
is that what it
antique
was?
radio.
And I think she got prophylactics for Raphael. I can't remember.
Now that you mention it, I don't remember what she got him. Hold on.
No, it's implied though. No,
A hat. She got him a hat. So yes, a sort of prophylactic of a sort.
It is. I mean, that's what I was trying to say. Is this movie is very deep. I know she got him a hat. I'm just trying to say he wants to be in the human world so badly that he'll dress
Deep
up in
inside.
Very much
Fishing
so.
world.
And that's why he's angry. That's why he destroyed the music when they're all having fun dancing around. He really needs to be inside of the human world. And that's why she got him a hat.
Okay.
And
Then she got Splinter a antique lamp, which is on a post.
I thought that design actually looked pretty good. Of the scepter is what it's called.
Seeing
the time
it,
scepter.
The old version and the I guess you would say new version.
Sure.
The one that's in history and the one that's in modern time. I thought they did a good job making one that looks like it is appropriate in each, until you actually see inside the lamp, and then you're like, whoa, okay, now this is a little silly.
It's silly because you can't look inside of time. I mean, again, when you look inside of something that powerful, the human mind can't understand it. And so that's probably why it just looks visually, the prop looks like garbage.
Sure.
Okay.
And so when they're looking at that, it starts lighting up and spinning. Because in backwards time, Prince is
feudal Japan.
Yes.
Time.
And as I said, Prince is screwing around with it. So in my mind, I imagine Prince screwing around with the scepter in feudal Japan. We'll stick with that.
I like that sentence because I can see Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince. Wow, that's
he would have been really good in this movie. I think that would have been really interesting.
Wow, actually that's fucking good.
Because then they could have worked in a musical number
exactly.
Because
they had the coming out of their tour show, coming out of their shells tour, but now Prince is
getting up there
headlining with them. God damn, that's sexy. All right. I mean, this movie was good already, but now, holy crap. But yeah, we did. The prince got captured, and the whole idea is that in feudal Japan, the prince is in love with the rebellious leader, who was a woman watching earlier, and the prince's dad, the Lord Nobagara Turu, I can't remember his last name, the Lord, the Shogun, whatever, doesn't like it, and so he's going to kill his son. I'm not too certain, but he's interrupted by really a very powerful, commanding presence of an actor. He's so good I don't even know his name, but his character name is Walker, and he is our main.
No. His name is Ruffles.
His name is Ruffles. They do try to tear him down, but he's a strong man. He knows who he is, and his name is Walker.
Ruffles.
I think what the actor did was he saw David Warner act and just copied him exactly to a T, almost mimicking a better actor in a way. Not necessarily a better actor. That's the wrong words. I think his name is like Stuart Gordon or something. But David Warner, though, he's actually... I mean, now I think about it, he's just crap compared to this guy, who's copying basically who he is.
Wow.
But he's a bad guy, and he's an Englishman. He has guns.
Yeah, he murders everyone outside the castle and brags about it to the Lord, because the Lord doesn't want guns, because guns are bad.
And he's got a magic scepter. And that's when the prince...
Son grabs it, and
at the same time in the past, but... He grabs a scepter at the same time April is grabbing it, and then they swap bodies, basically.
But how are they both doing it at the same time when it's not the same time?
I think what happened was a screenwriter probably consulted a science person. Wow, I can't think.
A physicist?
A physicist, a Neil deGrasse Tyson person that we haven't heard of, and this person theorized that time works in lines, and they run parallel all the time.
What year was this movie out in?
1993.
93? So if I do the math...
Yeah, I think there's probably an equation.
It's 390 years in between the things. So that's where... history attaches to. We're attached to 390 years ago.
So let's say an example is, so if we had this scepter and someone in, our future had the scepter at the same time.
390 years
and
ahead.
they were the same mass, we would swap places.
Except for bizarre clothing choices and bizarre accessory choices.
Exactly. But I think what was important is really, this movie... they don't brag about it, that they figure out this mathematical equation about time travel that it works perfectly when it's just, I don't know, something incredible.
Do you have a list of quotes over there?
I have a list of many quotes that we go through.
I'm just going to ask, do you have Donatello's quote when he is scientifically researching the scepter?
I don't have that one. I have more of the silly ones where it's maybe you were expecting the Addams Family, or I swallowed a frog. I hope it's not an ancestor, because the turtles are frogs, and
there's no difference.
Well, frogs find a way. We found out in Jurassic Park that they were all the dinosaurs were female, so they couldn't reproduce. Mm-hmm. But they had some gaps, and they had to fill in those codes, and they used frog DNA, and bingo, dino DNA, and frogs have been known to change sexes, and that's what happened to dinosaurs. I think that's what happened here, is they needed to have mutant frogs in the future, so frogs found a way to
get it on.
Let's get it. And then there's probably chemicals in the water turning frogs gay. So that's a different thing. I'm going down a wormhole, but that's how deep and good this movie is.
If there were mutant turtles in the past, which led us to a random event in New York creating mutant turtles, shouldn't there be mutant rats in the past, leading to random mutant rats in the future?
I don't see why not.
So we are missing out on parts of history.
That's really a deep thought. Wow. I am... flabbergasted.
Anyway, so after the scepter swaps places between the prince and April.
April 2, please. Show her some respect.
April 2.
She deserves it. It's like April the 2nd, I want to call her. Like, she's the second coming of a really interesting character. Deep, well thought out. Again, the actress probably did a lot of character work and study. My hat's off to her. I think probably the haircut did it to her. Like, unlocked something in her, maybe. That now she has a proper haircut. I know what April the 2nd is. I am April the 2nd.
She had maybe 4 lines in the second movie,
yeah,
and now she has
something to do.
25 lines.
She gets captured immediately. She has something. Yeah. Her character has something to do. She is a damsel in distress. That's very important for a female actress.
But let's not dismiss the point. No. She's sassy when she gets caught.
She's got to have sass. She's from New York.
Yeah.
She's got to have, again, the haircut, change it. And I'm sure she was on set. She's like, refer to me as April the Second, please. No, Paige. Here's your coffee. No, it's April. I mean, and then she would do some sass. I can't act that way because I didn't get the haircut. So I'm going on and on. I'm sorry.
So I also want to know, because I thought this was a very meaningful moment that April 2 gets scared by the Emperor and all his men, and she drops her Walkman.
Yes.
And her Walkman has a speaker on it, and she's listening to something like Miami Sound Machine.
Yes.
And it scares everyone, and they have to destroy it.
Cuban music scares a lot of people, I found out. I have nothing to add to that besides that's really my core feeling.
So Prince comes to the future. Prince is so confused because he's surrounded by turtles. He faints because he's the same mass as a woman, so he has every right to faint, apparently, in a film.
He sees Splinter and he says, "Ohayo gozaimasu." Very poorly as I said it. Because, again, Splinter's half a man. And, he faints. And then he says, "Oh, you have a tendency to do that to people." So again, jokes come, the best kind of jokes come in 3. And this is a third movie that 3 people have fainted. Yes, the first movie, April 1st faints.
Okay, yes.
Kino faints when she sees Splinter. Now, another person faints. Fucking beautiful screenwriting.
There you go.
And then, you just talked about how when they swap places, they swap clothing.
Yeah.
Except that her Walkman went with her, which means that, I mean, if we think about it, like in Terminator, when they are transported through time, they have to be naked because inorganic matter cannot travel through time. So I think that's the same thing here. So
Unless
that means
you wrap inorganic matter in organic matter.
Correct.
Like
so that means
Terminator.
that her Walkman was wrapped in organic matter, and his sword that comes with him also is a soul sword of sorts.
They have very few options where to wrap these things. We're going to leave that up to the imagination where these devices were held.
It's fine. It makes sense, guys.
So I'm gonna step back a little bit here because there's 2 things that happened before these people switched places. There was the reveal of the scroll
Correct.
of the emperor. His grandfather or great grandfather, someone was defeated by these kappas or those demons.
Yeah, they're referred. Yeah, kappas. Sorry,
and they look like the Ninja Turtles on the scroll. Mm-hmm. And it's ridiculous.
Wait, hold on. You said that something in this movie was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you continue on, but I tread carefully, please. This is a really good movie.
So, and just before the reveal of the scroll, the prince is having a hissy fit over the fact that Daddy caught him and is punishing him. So he's in this shrine in the castle somewhere, and he starts having what I would call the room freak out.
Oh, definitely.
Where he walks to things and gently kicks them over, or he goes and then just kind of flops something on the ground.
That's really nice of you to say, because Tommy Wiseau, another fantastic actor, showed at
filmmaker,
really artist. I don't know, pioneer, trailblazer.
Well, he did shoot on film and video at the same time, taped together.
He literally had the 2 cameras taped next to each other because they didn't know which would be better. So he had them. That's why some of the shots were off center. People say he did it on purpose because he knew what he was doing. But towards the end of the movie, he does destroy an entire room, and it's very. It's like, I mean, people say he's a Citizen Kane of the new millennium.
But this came first,
and that's why people say this movie is shit. The Turtles are dumb. Why are they going back in time?
So obviously, Tommy Wiseau took this moment and encapsulated it in his movie.
I know. That's why I'm blown away by this movie. That I thought I was the only one noticing these things. I'm glad you're catching on.
All right, now we're catching up back to where we were. They're proclaiming April a witch because she made the prince go away. They're threatening things. The English guy, Ruffles. Hold on. I got to make sure this is the right time. Ruffles.
I think she calls him because she's got sass.
She calls him Ruffles, and so I call him Ruffles.
Sure.
Oh, it doesn't happen yet. Okay. But
okay.
It happens soon, and I got to call it out because I love it. So anyway, he challenges April 2, and April 2 tries to sass him out. And he doesn't buy it, and he calls her out on it, and they put her in sassy jail.
Yeah, they put her in a sassy bamboo cage and haul her up, and then we're introduced to another prisoner that gets thrown in there, an Englishman.
Yeah,
and it looks like
he's not an Englishman.
No, he's not.
I'd say about 50% of the time he may be English.
Well,
the other 50% he may be Irish, and the other part of the time he may be American.
Okay, again, you don't understand because it looks like Casey Jones. It's the same actor, Elias Koteas, I believe his actor's name is, and he's got a shaved head. So earlier we saw Casey with long hair again, and here he's shaved head
and a beard,
and he's in prison now because he didn't want to. I don't even know why.
His character's name is Mr. Witt, and they don't say why he's in there. They just put him there.
They just throw him in there. But you say that his accent probably wasn't that strong.
Probably, I heard it definitely shift between.
It probably did. No, I would say I do remember hearing it shift.
Mm-hmm.
That was the actor's choice. Not to say that, of course, the actor did have a strong accent. That would be crazy. It's almost like saying that Keanu Reeves had a bad accent in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I'm sure he did.
That was, again, actor's choice. He did it here because he's a mysterious man. He's shifting from different accents because we don't know who he is. He's mysterious. You have to keep in mind that this movie is deep.
Yes. So then we shift back to modern day, and this is where I get the idea that Splinter the animatronic movements and his mouth movements and the words he's saying leads me to believe he's had a stroke in between the second movie and this movie.
Definitely.
Because he can't move properly. He can't speak properly.
Yes.
And he's obviously lost the wisdom that he has had in prior movies.
Because he's been meditating so hard that he can actually see back in time. And he knows that okay, Donatello's figuring out exactly how the scepter works.
Yeah.
And it's mass time displacement. Duh, very easily. I understand that. And so Splinter says, "Oh, okay, so then it'll be in the priests of the Lord will have it. So you just have to swap places with those 4 priests because he visually could see back in time. He's that powerful."
Or off camera, he talked to the prince, and the prince knew that that's where the scepter was kept.
That's fine. I mean, that works too, I guess. But they swap places.
Yes, so the turtles all touch the scepter at the same time, and they swap places.
Touchy.
But it's not with priests; it's with the color guard.
The color guard, honor guard, color guard. I like color guard more because actually that's very fitting. Now that you say that, it's just a slip of the tongue for you. But when they're swapped back in time, it's during a battle, and they're all on horseback, and they're in their outfits. And samurai would wear masks to be intimidating.
Yes.
Now the turtles wear these masks, but they also are still visible. Are their bandanas, their color, their individual being now is in this color guard that they are.
It's also
amazing,
interesting that their samurai masks only covered from basically noses down.
Sure.
This past late spring into summer, I visited the Samurai Museum in Tokyo, which I recommend to everyone who has the opportunity to go. Plane. It's probably one of the better $15 you can spend in Tokyo.
But it was pretty cool, though.
Yes, I got to wear. I think it must have been a reproduction because why would they let people wear authentic gear? But they do have authentic gear there too. And you do not have peripheral vision when you wear those masks.
Sure, I bet. You couldn't see anything.
I have no idea why a warrior would wear those, other than putting in fear into your enemies.
It was mostly for fear, I believe, and probably ceremonial
stuff. It didn't help you in any shape or form. Anyway, yes, they're wearing those masks, and they have no idea what they're doing. Michelangelo's
on backwards,
has a scepter. And rides off into the forest, not knowing what's going on. The rest of the turtles splash into a pond, and I believe that's where I think I swallowed a frog.
A really good line. Now that we talked about it, very good screenwriting.
Yes.
Yeah, and Michelangelo falls off his horse, gets knocked out, and loses his scepter. So now he's away from his brothers. But in the modern time, so Casey Jones is there to take care of the samurai now, to babysit them in a way,
help them meditate.
And what was really funny was that Michelangelo's smart. He understood when they were going to swap places. He put on silly pants, and Leonardo asks Michelangelo, "Why are you wearing boxer shorts, Michelangelo?" So that guy who arrives in my place doesn't arrive bare naked. He was thinking ahead.
But then Splinter says, "Fuck that noise. Get the hell out of here."
There isn't time. And I mean, yeah, when you think about it, there really isn't time.
They had time to do that.
But what they did have time was to write a really good script with a lot of jokes that don't feel dated, not necessarily too dated, or they did it on purpose to, like, oops, I'll help him a turtle, and I just fell down, or...
You're right, yeah, they did have that, didn't they?
Yeah, we're expecting the Addams Family. What if we make a U-turn and it wind up in Godzilla land?
So one of my real concerns...
Hey, dudes, check it out. We're in Shogun. Shogun was a miniseries from 1984.
I thought it was like from the 70s even.
It was 84 because
but yeah,
I can't remember the actor's name, but my mother had a... I don't want to use this... I don't want to be too crass, but she probably had a really big lady boner for him.
Ooh.
I can't believe his name, but I think he turned out gay. But that I don't want to spread gay rumors. Richard Chamberlain is his name.
Okay.
Very handsome man. Actually, I'm being serious. He's a good actor. So, not that I'm not being serious about this movie.
What I really want to know is when the Warriors, the color guard from the past, came to the future or the now times, they were wearing, I'll call them underwear aprons.
Yeah, they had.
So, are we suggesting that the turtles are wearing underwear aprons underneath their shells?
Only Michelangelo is, because
no, his guy wore the boxer shorts.
Yes, but he didn't have the underwear.
But he did not have the underwear. So the other turtles must be wearing those under their shell?
No, because it came with them. See what I mean?
That doesn't
because it transferred. No, because
they didn't change. They changed clothes, but their accessories went with them. Is underwear an accessory or is underwear clothes?
I mean, I think we have to talk to the science guy that they hired for this script writing.
Gave Donatello all those fancy scientific terms to rattle off one after another.
It makes sense. It really, he said lots of words. God damn it. So I guess really, I'll let you go on. Go ahead. Sorry.
So Michelangelo was captured by the girl from behind the tree earlier.
I can't go on. This movie's so bad. This movie. I got half hour into this movie and I just was. How much longer is this movie? I can't stand this. I wanted to turn it off. So here's what happens. To quickly go past this. Barely a movie plot that they have here with villains that who gives a shit about. So here's what happens. Yeah. The turtles are the color guard now. The Emperor wants to see them. They kind of get found out. They go and they break into the prison. They free April by going out a sewer. They get water and shit in their mouth. That's like, oops, I'm a turtle. I can't get up, says Donatello, referring to that old infomercial. With the Life Alert. Yes. Then there's like an Oprah line. There's a bunch of dated jokes.
You're slowing down. Keep
okay. Keep going.
Ahead.
You're right. Okay.
Push ahead.
So push it ahead. They save April. Casey Jones of the past comes with them. Then as they're changing, she cuts her skirt so it's shorter. April 2 does.
Show off them gams.
She shows off her gams, her only good assets. And of course the turtle Leonardo and Donatello say swing, okay, not so fucking dated. And then we find out Michelangelo is hanging out with the rebels, and he becomes friends with them. And they go, "Oh, you're a Kappa, yeah. And Wikipedia that it's a demon that looks like a turtle that has a hole in its head that has water on top of it. They're weird looking, but I guess it kind of actually works. Makes sense. Whatever, they get back, and now the
Lord is attacking the village.
It's
where
the English guys are there
is.
for some reason, Walker, and he specifically tells his soldiers or whatever losers they are, shoot above them, just scare them away, and they're burning down the buildings in this village.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of kill them all, wipe them all out is really, I mean, they're the rebels.
Yeah, he did that earlier.
Here's your chance to crush the rebellion. The leader is not there, and the leader had fought with the turtles, and now, oh, actually, you're not that bad. Okay. Whatever. So...
push. You're slowing down.
Okay, I can push through it. So,
turtles arrive in the village.
And now here's a save the kitten moment to make sure the villagers, the idiot villagers, which whatever.
But it's not a
Michelangelo.
not a kitten. It's
Michelangelo
a child
saves
Yoshi.
Michelangelo saves Yoshi, the
The
dinosaur.
child with no personality.
Nobody has any personalities in this movie because it's bad. I mean, it's. Oh wait, I don't want to slip into my other personality of when I thought this movie was good. Okay, sorry. All right, so, jeez, I can't.
Either way, they're there to get the scepter. They don't get the scepter. The turtles chase them off. The turtles then push into the castle to get something, but then they find out that the scepter's still back in the village, and the villagers kept it from them. So it's like, oh,
we wanted you to think to fight for us, basically.
Yeah,
we feel bad, but we're gonna do it anyway. We sneak back in.
Well, they have to do it anyway because they only have 2 days to get everybody together to travel back to the future. Otherwise, no skin off of anyone's back.
They can't transport back or whatever.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, Casey Jones is teaching the samurai about hockey.
Yes, and that's probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, that was actually kind of fun because he's like, all right, they watch hockey on the TV. Ooh, they're mesmerized by the television. Then they see them fighting in hockey. Then he says, all right, let's play it. Well, how do we play? We start punching each other. We start fighting, which is actually
hilarious. That's actually the most funny part of the movie.
There's another one where the turtles are practicing on their horses, even though they were riding them just fine earlier. Now they're falling off of them. And Donatello falls off and says, ow, my butt. It's so dumb. It made me laugh. And yeah, Donatello's voiced again by the brilliant, the stupendous voice actor, Corey Feldman.
Thank you. I was like, Eddie Kaufman?
I looked it up, and he got paid $1,500 for this. And he asked, "Could I get paid a little bit more?" And he said, "No, you were in rehab. We're not going to give you. We're not going to. We know where this $1,500 is going right away. We're not going to give you any more. We're not going to make you OD and have that on our conscience, there, Corey Feldman. So here's your stupid Donatello bad voice money."
God.
And the movie has just constant. They're constantly talking. They're constantly saying terrible lines that aren't funny. They're in the background. Shut the fuck up. That's what I want. I said halfway through this movie.
There's a point. It's after they do something, and someone must have thought it was funny to say an extra line.
Yeah.
And they ADR'd it in, and it sounds so god awful. It's Michelangelo saying, "I'll be back."
Yes, it actually sounded like Arnold. I had that in my notes of like, "I'll be back" when they jump into the sewers to escape.
But it's louder. It's not
fit
in the same usual voice, and it's just like,
all throughout this movie, dated, terrible references, and I don't remember them doing that in the other movies where it was this constant. It was here and there, but it wasn't so obviously written and delivered.
In those other two movies, they were the thing being setting the trend, and now they're not the trend anymore, and they're grabbing to other things that are trendy at that point.
Makes sense. So whatever. The turtles are on the rebel side. Walker has his guns, and the Shogun guy, Lord, says, "Okay, you can use your guns."
Yeah.
And they have a big showdown, a big fight, and of course, the turtles win, and the Walker guy gets
knocked over the ledge because
he's only holding onto a pole. Then not Casey Jones shoots a cannon and it hits the pole, and he falls off the ledge. And if you look, did you notice the mistake?
I did not watch this because I was writing a note, but I heard about the mistake.
So he's falling in a scene you've seen in every action movie where the bad guy falls to his death. Yep. There's water below. They instead of just covering him up or cutting away from him hitting the water, they implode. They digitally implode his body when he hits the water, so he just goes like this. So top to bottom, he's imploded.
But it makes a splash sound.
And instead of adding like digital splash or cutting away to a reaction shot of people, ooh, and still hearing the screaming, no, they keep it in the movie and it looks. It doesn't matter at this point because the movie was such a tedious watch. I know you said you fell asleep.
I think this. So in the second movie, I thought I was going to fall asleep, but I never did. This one, I'm pretty sure I had like a minute where I was out.
Yeah, easily. It could easily happen. And they grab the scepter. The turtles want to stay because they made friends with kids, and that was
not all of them.
No, it was
Raphael wants to stay
because he
made Yoshi. Because I got a son, and
what a
Michelangelo
great
wants to stay
arc.
because he's got a boner for lady.
He even asks, "What's
leader.
your sign?" at one point for the Lady Rebellion leader. Come on, movie. Come on, keep it going. I like it. That can be like a commentary track in this movie, just underneath. You know, like Hot Wet American Summer has an entire audio track of farting.
Oh, I love the fart track.
The fart track for Hot Wet American Summer is amazing. You could add that underneath this entire movie of just Joe groan, like a Tina Belcher groan.
Yes. Yes.
So
let's touch on. I want to touch on something.
They go back in time and everything's fine.
Yeah, it all works out.
It all works out.
Whatever, because there are no stakes in this movie whatsoever. The only stake is you won't be able to make it back to your normal time period. That's it. That's the only stakes.
Yeah, because you really don't know how the time travel works, how they activate it. None of that is even said. You don't have to say.
The ultimate bad guy is the father of the prince. He doesn't want to kill.
He doesn't want to kill, but he finds it necessary. And
the English guy, Ruffles, doesn't, as you put it, doesn't really want to kill. He just wants to make a buck, and he the only reason he's going out really tough is because the scepter is going to make him a lot of money. That's all it is. There's nothing. This is a movie where it's just something's happening to bring it to something else, to something else, to something else.
And time travel's easy because for whatever reason.
This movie,
blah, blah, blah.
It's a nothing movie. It's spending money.
Yeah, it's a waste of money on screen. The Turtles' costumes look like I can't stand the way they look and how annoying it is watching the animatronics shake every time they talk, and their teeth are creepy. They look creepy now.
I could not stare at
all their teeth.
They're shiny and they're huge, and that's all I can look at.
Damn right. But okay, is there anything good in this movie?
Okay. Yes, there are good things, but they're not your typical good things.
Well, what do you got?
I'm going to say the one thing that could have been the savior of this movie is a line that happens early on in the past when Ruffles talks about his right-hand man, Niles, I believe his name is.
The Wet Willie guy that they constantly Wet Willie?
Yeah. So that guy, his character, doesn't matter. He cashed in. He barely did anything.
Yep.
But there's a perfect moment where the character Niles says something, and Ruffles is just like, "Shut up, Niles." And I was like, oh, this is going to be the line of the movie. We're going to hear Niles be told to shut up all over the place, and it's going to be hilarious. But they only say it once, and it worked so well that one time, and they never went back to it. And I was waiting for it and waiting for it and waiting for it, and it never came back for me.
Wow, you held up hope.
Yes.
Okay.
I even went to after the credits to see if they would be like, "Shut up, Niles." I would have been like, "Yes."
Oh, speaking of the credits, did you see any of the credits? Okay, so the movie ends before the first two movies ended on a freeze frame. Mm-hmm. This one just ends with them going back to doing a dumb fist walk back and forth, like
kind of like walk like an Egyptian, kind
like
of
like the wrestling group.
Oh yeah.
The Bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers.
The Bushwhackers from WWF.
Yes.
And the credits go over them dancing, and Splinter has a dumb joke. He says,
but this joke wasn't well defined this time either.
He puts on Mikey's Hawaiian
lampshade.
and says, like,
Elvis did
Elvis,
this.
Blue Hawaii. Ha-ha.
And he didn't say, I made a funny again or something stupid.
No.
That would have been even
Something.
better.
Something.
It would have been dumb, but it would have been better.
Yeah, and then the credits come over with a really bad, another bad 90s, even worse than before, where the other ones were kind of catchy.
Yeah.
This music's terrible. But I guess what I was trying to say is, in the credits, the voice actor for Michelangelo, I think he has a trademark on his name, a TM, or R for registered.
Wow.
I looked, I was, what? Who is this guy? I can't remember his name. Brian Tashi. It's not Brian Dennehy. He was Oliver from the Brady Bunch. He was a little kid that they brought in towards the end of that show.
Huh.
He was cousin Oliver that everyone hated. That's the guy of Michelangelo, who's been the voice of Michelangelo all through 3 of the movies.
Interesting.
Okay, that was a little bit of something good in this movie.
There you go.
I liked that they did actually use their weapons more in this one.
They did. The fighting came back.
The fighting came back, but it wasn't as good because they added. It wasn't as gritty because, again, there's no stakes. They're fighting against people that actually don't want to hurt them, and vice versa. It's not gritty. It's shot not as well.
No. Yeah.
But you could still see the actors moving around, really doing some great stunt work. Basically, like, okay, I can admire that. They're doing this. They're basically blind underneath that animatronic head, so they're kicking as best they can. But what ruins it is sound effects. Anytime someone gets punched, you hear or slip or whoop. There's constant cartoon sound effects throughout this entire movie.
Yeah.
Boo.
I kind of blocked that out after a while, I think.
Yeah. So, anything else good?
So I want to also point out that we glossed over it. Mr. Witt, Casey Jones in the past. He's brought in. They kind of try to make him out being like, oh, he's a super spy, and then they don't really explain it. But I get it. He was brought in to spy on April and the Turtles, figuring he could get the scepter from the backside, and he does. But then he feels bad about it because he likes them.
And he says, "Take me with you," and you go back into the future, whatever.
It was a storyline that went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of had a point, and they didn't know what to do with it. It didn't resolve even. He kind of just disappears at the end of the movie. He doesn't even do anything at the
he was the one who kills.
Yeah, after
maybe that's why he
knocks
was there.
Ruffles off. He kind of disappears after that.
That's the reason why he was there, is so the Turtles don't kill him. He does it. The Turtles can't kill anyone. They knock him out, blah, blah, blah. He was the one that had to kill him. So
sure.
Even though it should have been the rebellion leader, like it should have been her, because she wasn't even a leader in any possible way, because they don't know how to write for her at all, or April.
She just kind of happened to be around in situations and look nice. That was it.
Instead of having any character or anything. But I was going to say something. I can't remember what it was.
So I'm just going to read my summation here at the bottom.
Please.
Boring, lacks tension, lacks purpose. No stakes if they don't get back to their time.
Yep.
To be honest, there is none. Previous Mutant Turtles ? Do they travel again and they are those turtles? Who knows? What about that scroll? Who cares?
Yep.
All the stuff that are like these major things that oh, look at this.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's just a throwaway. Yep. It's just there to provide you means to the next thing.
And I heard people complain about this movie online, like, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? I said, because they wanted to make the movie on the cheap. Yep. We could add a little bit of time travel. Where do they go? Okay, they go back in time. We can shoot that in California or wherever they were easily and pretend it's Japan. Who are their enemies? Oh, just 2 humans. Are they mutants? Do they have powers of any kind? Magic? No.
And they're not. The bad guys aren't even really bad guys. They are just people in circumstances.
That's exactly what it is. They're not evil. They're just there. Like, just trying to get through their day.
Now, let's talk about just people in circumstances being bad guys. Princess Mononoke is probably the best movie where you cannot root for anyone. even though some of their morals may be exaggerated,
Sure.
everyone has their point and purpose. They're not inherently evil points and purposes, so they're not. But yeah, obviously some of them are assholes about it. But this movie gets nowhere near that gray area.
Well, you can't. This is supposed to be a kids movie. That's why you just want to have a clear.
Are you saying Princess Mononoke is not a children's movie?
This is for a kids movie for dumb kids, and that's why you just have a simple. Here's a bad guy. They have to beat the bad guy. Keep it simple and keep it interesting, but it doesn't do either.
And that's the thing. If someone's going to be a bad guy and it's going to be simple, make it a simple bad guy. Don't try to fluff that stuff up.
Yeah, Ruffles. All right, so it's not recommend for me for sure. And this is, I didn't see it as a kid because I was done with Turtles. And if I had seen it as a kid, it would have probably, I made the right choice by not continuing with this franchise.
You would have had better chances with cartoons.
The Turtles cartoons?
What? Yeah, whatever came after.
Oh, whatever came next. Oh, no. I started getting into anime at that point too.
Yeah.
So, 93. I don't know. But anyway. So that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. It is not called Turtles in Time, which people are starting to say now. That's Turtles 4, the video game for the Super Nintendo. That is Turtles in Time.
It was an arcade game
not
first.
This hunk of
and
shit.
then it went to all the
technically
consoles.
You are right. There was
and I
Turtles.
love that arcade game.
It's a really it's still fun one. One that they don't really people talk about is Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project on the Nintendo. That's a fun game too.
I'm trying to remember that one because I'm sure I played it. I know the first Nintendo Turtles game. Garbage.
First was garbage. Second one was the arcade game. The third one, the Manhattan Project, was basically the second one with more of the same.
You know, I'll have to
and
look
you can flip people up. Really fun.
You can flip people off?
You can flip people over. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Like you do a maneuver, you grab them, and you flip them over your head.
I remember that.
Yeah, the Manhattan
Then
Project.
I must have played it.
Yeah, probably. But I don't have my sheet in front of me, so I'm going to have to wing it. Hey.
Do you want me to do it?
Hey, why don't you do it?
Hey.
All
right, we're the Rewinders. If you want to contact us, you can email us at therewinderspodcast at gmail.com. We are on Facebook at The Rewinders Podcast and Twitter
at Rewinders Pod.
Rewinders Pod.
At Rewinders Pod. Yeah, if you disagree with us and you want to fight us,
do it
ninja style these ninja turtle movies.
Yes,
bring it. If you have any reviews, good or bad, post them on iTunes or wherever you download this episode.
Yeah,
do it.
We also like subscriptions, and we also like reviews.
Sure, why not? That's all I got. We need to record that audio track of you groaning for Turtles 3. Can you start right now? We'll just record this and we'll loop it. I'll add something. What's your crying? We are the Rewinders. Still watch this movie. Thanks for listening. For you to run out of air.
I think I took a breath in there somewhere.